So with these new plays that are coming out in June with Theater Pops, we're going to start with Red on the Head. Tell me a little bit about what your thoughts were and what created that idea.
Well, I wrote a book of poetry about 5 years ago, and one of the poems involved two Navy buddies, ex-Navy buddies, who bump into each other at the airport. And their lives have had, really diverse paths. And the more admirable the one has not had a very successful life financially. And the two of them begin to compare notes, and it turns out that one of the reasons that the one has had sort of an adverse life financially was because of a deception that the other one had played on him back in the Navy days. And nevertheless, their friendship is maintained. So that was sort of the... what I was trying to capture was the awkwardness of two people who were very good friends and really didn't have that much in common, but really liked each other's company. And really, they regretted parting at the airport, even though they really, after 20 minutes, didn't have that much to say.
Now, as far as the second play for the evening? Jesus for the Defense. Jesus for the Defense started off as a novel. The major character in the novel was this character, Jesus,
Jesus, who is a boy that grew up in the barrio in New York, and he was illegitimate, raised by his mother, supported from a distance by his Jewish father, and he has a rough time getting through law school. He's a street boy, and he finally gets out, and he decides to be a lawyer that breaks all the rules and attempts to impose justice on the system, despite the fact that sometimes that's difficult to do. So he's sort of a bandit lawyer, and he has a difficult time getting a good job, and so he takes a job in Oklahoma as the pro bono lawyer for an Indian tribe. And his first case involves a defense of an Indian girl who's charged with murdering her baby.
So with it being set in Oklahoma and with your background with being a lawyer, how did those two pieces come together? Is it just that Oklahoma is your home?
Well, it made it easier for me. I mean, I find that, when you're writing and you're writing about something that it's more comfortable. I've tried a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. I was primarily a civil lawyer, but I did try some criminal cases, and I've tried 100 cases in my life. So the courtroom settings are easy to, and also have feelings about the law. And in this play, at one time, the critical line is that young Jesus, or Jesus, the lawyer, says, I've always heard that the law was like a cobweb. It catches the butterflies, but lets the rats and the wasps break through. And so the whole theme is how do you provide justice for the poor? And, at one point he says, Goldman Sachs has every hot dog, high-ranking lawyer out of Harvard as their lawyer, but the average poor person in the court has nobody or has a voluntary defender. And so it's this thesis of how difficult it is to really have justice in the system, the way it's set up.